if you desire a certain man, I would go there. Like, I think you could find a nice man at a business conference, right? I think, right? So I would say you should go. You probably not, I don't know if you're going to find your guy at Magic City.
You might.
So now if you want guy, if you want that, meaning like somebody may be turning up like promoter and nothing wrong, like however they get it, go where that person is. But I see a lot of nice gentlemen, a lot of nice women at these business conferences literally looking for people. Now, the other thing is I've never experienced this, but my partner Doug found his wife on Match. You said Tinder. It seemed like them apps must work. Just get with somebody to write the bio or something.
Gotcha.
But I really think that's critical. You should actually go where they are. And I tell, like my brother's quote, J.O. say, whatever you tune into, you turn into, whatever entertains you, train you. You need to be going where these individuals are. If it's church, go to church. If it's a conference, and they will run into you. Like somehow it's just going to happen if you stay in that arena long enough. And again, you may not want an entrepreneur. Go where I only know entrepreneurs
There's
at
some
this
corporate
point.
conferences out here with some
That's what I'm
corporate
saying.
men.
Go to some corporate conferences, and go to some retreats, some dating retreats and Facebook groups and stuff. But that's just what I would do if I was looking.
Girl, stop playing. All right, y'all. We are back for another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. I'm your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. Because y'all already know that I believe you can make the money and you can get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work for it. So, this live podcast.
What's the honey?
The honey is the fella. The bae that goes with the bag.
There we go.
I don't know where my mind was. That's what's up.
So we could not end this live podcast show without getting into the mind of a man or a few good men. So clap it up for the men one time, y'all.
Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? We here.
Because they didn't even know what we was talking about, y'all. They sat down on this couch and said, well, what is it that we are talking about? So the fact that y'all just showed up for your girl without asking any questions.
Only for Cole. Y'all give it up for her. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. They were actually my guests at the very first live podcast I did in like 2018. And so I had to have y'all back. Neo is a surprise addition to the show. Give it up for Neo one time. All right, so before we get into it, give yourselves an introduction. What do you do and what is your relationship status? Because we want to know.
My name is David Chans. I have a podcast called Social Proof Podcast. I have a content creation. That's what's up. Y'all can clap. That's cool. I'll take them. Take them a little clap. We'll get them joints. I have a content creation studio in a community that meets every single morning where I teach entrepreneurship, and I'm married, father of 2, one on the way.
Come on, one on the way.
He ain't been playing around. He started making some money, has some babies. You know what I'm saying? I like it. Justin Owens, I live in Atlanta. I guess the relationship piece, we knocked that out first. Dating right now.
Okay,
and business-wise, I have a clothing line, New ACOs. It has, the rapper, athlete, entrepreneur crossed out.
The original.
The original version of it. We got a brand called Run to Play. We teach people about leadership, high-level leadership, communication, relationship building, team building. And just overall serial entrepreneur. We got a lot of different businesses out there and help people scale them across the world.
I love it.
Yeah.
Y'all can clap it up.
God bless you all. I'm CEO Matty J, aka Mr. Document the Process. Yes.
The love is here. There's a bunch of love here.
Document the process.
I'm known for documenting my process and teaching people how they can do it too. Basically turning what they know into cash flow via education material. Coaching programs, online programs, courses, things of that nature. I got most of my notoriety in the last 3 years from the car rental program that I launched in 2020 called Cars and Bars. But my primary focus is educational development. I'm married of 6 years to my amazing, lovely, beautiful wife, Erica. She's right there.
Oh, that was a good play. Nice plug.
Yeah, that's what I do, and that's how I provide value.
My name Nehemiah. First, congratulations. I'm so proud. The podcast is lit. I'm just
Thanks.
happy to be here.
Thanks.
I'm gonna be one of the official sponsors too. I'm just letting you know that now.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here first. Okay.
Before they get to it.
But he a few thousand late, so he a few
record.
thousand late. I already sponsored.
No.
You know what I mean?
Y'all can
You heard what we
compete. Y'all
just
can
said.
compete. Okay.
That's one of my business partners, so we might work out together. But no, my name Nehemiah Davis, serial entrepreneur. I teach a lot of entrepreneurs just how to make more money online. My lovely wife is here, Sylvina. We've been married 3 years now. Been together like a lot longer, and I'm just happy to be here, and hopefully I can provide some more value.
Yes. All right. I'm excited to get into this conversation because I think too many women are having conversations amongst themselves about what men think and what men want without just talking to a man. And I've had the pleasure of being the homegirl to a lot of homeboys. I know all of y'all personally. And that is a blessing, I think, especially for a woman who is out here looking for something of substance, to be able to have men of substance that she can tap into. So let's go ahead and get into it. We often talk about like the red flags, like women are talking about the red flags for men, but I want to know, and y'all might have to think back a little bit because I know I got some married men up here, but what are some red flags that women display that we might not realize that we're throwing out there? Justin, you take it first since you in the dating
Yeah,
right
take
now.
it first.
Yeah, I just left that world, so I can tell y'all.
What world, Justin?
You know, well, let's keep going with the question.
Okay.
Let's just start there. I would say for me, it's attitude. You know, like some people are very like they got a hot temper, attitude. Anybody that's like argumentative. You know, the Bible tells you should seek peace, right? And there's some people that seek arguments, and so you just got to catch which one it is. And I throw this out too because I was married for 11 years before, and so I learned stuff about myself through that process. And then also red flags that I thought was like, you know, this stuff sometimes you think it's just gonna go away, but it just magnifies. And so, you know, if a person is really argumentative, I think anybody that's a nagger, it's not a thing for me. I think any lady that has too much time on her hands is a red flag too. Bible says
Too much time on their hands.
Yeah, it says an idle mind is the devil's playground.
Girl, he gonna pull out the Bible verses on your ass. Okay.
I seen my
Can't
girl
argue
up
with
there.
him when he pull up the verses.
Yeah, but
You can't
but
argue
it's
with
true.
him.
But that's for men and women though. You know, like but I think a person should be productive and growing. And I think the only other red flag is somebody that's just like, you know, I would call them like professional beggars.
Ooh.
And what I mean by that is like there's some women that'll try to make you feel bad for not having something that they don't have. I saw somebody make a post recently and it was like, isn't it sad to date somebody that would have to wait to payday to do stuff? I was like, wait a minute. Wait to payday to do stuff. Everybody gets paid. And it's like, so now we're dogging people for having a job and they get paid consistently? Like, I don't understand, how do you win then? So you don't have a job, I'm talking about you. You got a job where you get paid consistently, but it's not enough, I'm talking about you. You make too much money, now you don't got no time, I'm talking about you. So I think you got to figure out what it is. But there are some people that are really good at, you know, dripping the fact that they don't have something and they need it from you. But when you find somebody that is like about their business and they're confident and they're open about their flaws, but also willing to work on them and grow, I think you found something you can work with.
Got you. Okay, so he gave us the red flags and the green. Anybody else? He covered.
Yeah, I was
I
saying.
just came from out there, y'all. I tell y'all right now, it's real fresh.
I would say blame and the lack of taking accountability. So like never being able to say that you had a hand in whatever the issue is right now. So me and my wife, we have this practice where whatever the disagreement is, there's something I could have did better, but there's also something she could have did better. And we need to start right there. Okay, what did we do that we could have avoided the situation? But some people just, like everything is always someone else's fault, but that's like, that kind of spills over into your life in general. Like when everything happens in your life or in your world, you're always a victim. And that's one of the biggest red flags. If you can't take accountability, that's a huge red flag.
Okay.
Me and Dave have the same personality, so accountability is definitely a priority for me. The ability to take account and take ownership, even if it's not your fault. Sometimes it's our responsibility. and it takes a lot of maturity, humility to accept that. So that's one of the huge values that I look for when it comes to any relationship, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before y'all saved lives as married men, back when y'all was out here wasting people's time, what were some signs? Because for women, sometimes a lot of times we make excuses. You know, we like something in you, so we're willing to stick around and have our time wasted in hope of you get it together, you see our value one day. What are some things that women could maybe look for to be able to know whether their time is being wasted? Because obviously when you found your wife, you did something different because you noticed something different. So what were you doing before that to the women whose time you was wasting? Anybody?
My brother's in deep thought right now.
David's like, I'm not touching that one. Okay. You can feel free to pass the mic to me. I was about to say.
This is tough.
We playing past the mic.
Yeah. So the question is, what are some ways that women will know if their time is being wasted? I think they talked about it earlier, the 2:00 text, the 100%. Like, you know what it is. Like, we don't go outside much, or you're gonna go outside in the beginning, and this is going to happen. I think it's happened to everybody. You go out, wine and dine you, but once we get that thing, or you get that thing, it could be vice versa, the dates slow down. So it's almost like once you get in the house and you get in that comfortable space, it's a lot of Netflix and chills. Let's just order something. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you just gotta recognize that. I think men are hunters, and like there are certain animals that's not going to kill a struggling animal. They're not gonna like pounce on somebody that's not healthy, right? So I'm not saying that women are healthy, but what I'm saying is we are hunters. Once we get it, we want to chase.
Yeah.
But some women just give us all they have up front, and now there's nothing to chase. I don't even got. You giving me everything. You've given me everything. You washing my clothes. You coming over cooking like.
Thanks.
And now I don't have to marry you because I'm getting what I want without any type of commitment.
Yeah.
And then and a lot of times never mind. Let me just.
Never mind.
I mean, and here's the thing. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's like, all right, I'm gonna get with her. I'm gonna have sex. She's gonna wash my clothes. I don't think that's the intention. But once the chase is over, we have to chase something else. So I was blessed to be in my entrepreneurial space and chasing my wife. And in 6 months, I married her. Here's the reason. One, I knew she was the one, but I saw my old habit coming back where I can find someone perfect, what I want, and then I'm going to find something wrong with that person, and then I'm gonna start the cycle over again. So for me, I don't know if you're gonna find a man that has this type of realization, or maybe you can have the conversations, but I have this pattern. No matter how good the woman is, you get used to something. And I told myself, if I don't make a commitment, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna lose an amazing woman, because she wasn't the type to sit around and play with me. So 6 months later, actually, I met my wife on Tinder.
I was wondering if you gonna tell her.
I didn't know Tinder was what y'all thought it was, okay? Actually, Cole wrote my bio. Like, we were together one day. She wrote my bio. She was like,
David, you ain't getting no girls with this, bro. Let me help you out.
She rewrote my whole bio on Tinder, and I think like 2 weeks later,
found his wife.
Yep.
There we go.
You married her 6 months right after that.
6 months. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think, were you about to say something, Jeff?
No, you go ahead.
I think for me, what I've been doing lately, and this just in general, and I don't know if this fully translates, this might have to happen after the first date, but I think you need to get very clear on what you want from the beginning. So it's like I'm struggling right now. My 16-year-old is like dating somebody that like hurts my heart. Like it burns but I had a clear conversation, like, and again, I can't say what's for her, but here's how I see this going. She's 16, you're 18. There's certain things that are just not going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months, if y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So as an adult, I think even ladies, like, you may just got to set some Just say if you're celibate, right? I'm letting you know that from the beginning. Cause now you ain't even gonna waste my time if you know I'm here just for one thing only, right? So I think that's one thing. And the second thing, I just want to say this. For me, I waited to get married so long, and I think because I never saw the successful marriage. So that wasn't a part of the question, but I want to say that because sometimes, like, I commend you for doing it in 6 months, but I didn't see nobody around me ever getting married, so I just never felt like, I'm like, why do I actually need to do that? So it took me I was with my wife a long time before we actually got married, but one of my reasons was I never saw a successful marriage. I like to follow people who did something first. So I don't think that answers the question.
My hack was, too, this was really cool, and this could be a hack for you all. Me being around, like Neil said, me being around other married men, sometimes you got to bring your boyfriend around other married couples. Because it's a different conversation, and it's an inspiration.
That's the hack right there.
Thank you, Donnie. So, so Donnie and her significant other, we get together all the time, like me and my wife, and like married couples, right? So once you get that person around that conversation, that becomes the influence. Because otherwise, if they're around single men, what do you think that influence is? So you got to figure out how to like bring that person around married couples because that conversation is different.
Yeah, I think. Well, let's clap for that because that's true for real. A red flag to watch out for. I think it's kind of what Neil said, like expectations. Like if it's just about a booty call, I think you should say that. If you're looking for a relationship, I think you should say that. I think it is a thing where people are like, I feel like it's almost like a business sometimes, or like life and relationships are kind of the same, where somebody's like, I was in a bad business, so I don't want to get in another one and lose again. Well, you can't jump in this business talking about the last one. And so I hear a lot of people saying, I want to get in a relationship because I don't want to waste no time. Well, a lot of people that I know, initially when they were dating, they were wasting time. And then they got to know the person. They're like, man, I don't want to waste no more time. I want to spend some time with this person a little bit more. Because I do believe, if a person is dating around, naturally, when you found a person that you want to spend more time with, you'll start cutting off those other people and nobody really has to say anything. So if you, I think one red flag is a person keep disappearing for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying?
You.
And then coming back, hey, I'm back, my bad. It is a story. I mean, it's probably, you can have something going on.
That ghosting. How many of y'all been on Google like, why do men ghost? That's like why y'all be doing that?
But I don't know if it's ghosting. I think you really, it's like sales. You have to, some people, they delay the sales process because they don't want to ask the question. And it's not because they don't want to ask the questions, because they're scared of the answer. And I think there's a lot of people in a relationship, you could just really ask the question, yo, what is this? Are we building something? Or are we just messing around? Let me know. And the answer will tell you everything. Anything other than we're serious is you messing around. And then now you have that information and you got to do something with it.
Yeah, you got to do something with that answer. Mm-hmm. I've been in situations, well, I ain't really date nobody before my wife, but I said one time, I don't really,
good answer,
nobody.
Good answer,
right, yeah.
It'll be a loss.
Yeah. I got one more too after you finish.
Okay. You want to go now?
No, because I'm not going to forget. Go ahead.
I'm excited. So I've had the question of what are we, and I'm dancing around the answer. I mean, I think we just chilling, getting to know each other, and the person stays around, which tells me you ain't going nowhere anyway. The way I'm answering the question tells you I'm not really trying to be serious with you. Now, there are some scenarios where I say, well, I don't really want nothing serious, and they say, well, this ain't the thing for you. And now I'm on her line every day. Yo, hold on, I didn't mean it like that. I just remember those scenarios, but I think the lady said it perfectly. Knowing your worth, and you don't got to chase nobody, and you got to accept what they say. If you know this ain't the direction that you're going in, you got to be willing to let that go. You just got to be willing to let it go. So.
Yeah, I just thought of another one too. It's if they don't bring you out nowhere in public, I think that's a big one. Especially. No, for real, because there's some people
outside the city
outside, it's we go to a date and then we go, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, and I'm not saying it's a rush thing, because I believe in taking my time, and because the first time I was married, well, when I was married, the first time it was a quick joint, and I'm glad yours worked out. Mine was a little different experience, but we both had to grow. Nah, it's not even all her fault. It's definitely a lot. I had a lot to learn in that process, but when you getting serious with somebody, you want to bring them around the people that you care about because you want to see how everybody vibes and connects and stuff as well. Because like the worst thing you want to do is be dating somebody silently for a year and a half, 2 years, and bring them around and they falling out with everybody. You know, so it's like eventually somebody should bring you around, at least a brother or a sister or somebody, one of their best friends. And if you start seeing that, but if you start seeing them at a lot of events, public events that you could have been invited to, but you weren't, you know, you probably just not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just keeping it on it, you know?
So we've all heard, you know.
That's a fact.
You got something, Maddie? You're cracking up. We've all heard, you know, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. To me, that means that you are a wife when you're found, right? So what are some of the things that your wife was displaying that made you say, and this is for everybody, but that made you say, I can't play with this one? Like, what were some of those things that you weren't willing to lose, so you weren't playing around, wasting her time, trying to see how much you could get away with or how you could get over?
For me, and this is,
You gonna answer
I don't know,
the
this
question,
is just me, right? I went through her Instagram and she ain't had no sexy pictures like that.
Whew. Say it one more time. Say it one
That
more
joint
time.
did something for me. I'm not gonna lie. There wasn't no short shorts. There wasn't no looking back at it pictures. For me personally, if that's on your page, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that I went down. It was like family, friends, like dressed well. I said, ooh, ain't nobody see what I'm about to have. That was big for me. So.
Big bar. That's a big bar.
Yep.
Maddie is out of this conversation.
So for me,
My frameworks.
I think when I found my wife at the time, I didn't know she was gonna be my wife, but she was making more money than me, first off. And the second thing is, like, she was willing to get her hands dirty. I'm talking about everybody not willing to get their hands dirty. I'm talking about she outside scrapping metal with me. She gonna sell some fruit, gonna sell some T-shirts. Like, for me, that's important. Like, cause I said right now, everything is good right now. We got 4 kids. But if we lost it all tomorrow, we will go back to the trenches and do whatever it takes. So for me, if you can't go back to the trenches with me, like, yeah, she got the Lambo truck, she got whatever she wanted. My wife don't care about a material thing. You could miss her with anything material. But I know we could lose everything tomorrow, go back in the trenches, if she got to go get a job, whatever it takes for us to get back. So that was something very important for me. And I noticed that earlier on versus a lot of my people I know, I was seeing them get with people and they was with them strictly for money. Straight, like, let me see what I could get out of this relationship. And I've never, ever had that feeling. And I can name on my hand 5 times. I don't even think I could name 5 times where my wife ever asked me for anything. Like, can you pay for my hair? I can't name right now, all of these years, 5 times in one hand where she said, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? She gonna go get on the bus. She would do anything. And before we got married, she already had a daughter. And it was like, she never asked for anything, struggling and everything. She was just going, I'm gonna go figure this thing out and not ask for nothing. So, not saying I didn't give anything, but that was big for me. Cause I was struggling too. Like, I had businesses, but I wasn't making a lot of money when I started these businesses when I first started, freaking 13 years ago. So it was like, or 12, however long it was, but just the idea that you can find somebody that's just ready to grind for you, that's important to me. Like, nothing else is more important to me than somebody ready to go get it with you by any means.
That's good.
Maddie, you got something for us? He didn't pass this mic. You didn't looked all around. What you got?
I'm enjoying the conversation. This is a good conversation. So for me, when I met Erica in 2015, I was focused on business development, focused on income, impact for other people. However, I realized after I started tapping into the personal development that the only way to really develop a person is somebody has to expose you. Right? Somebody has to expose your flaws. And I'm around people who just show a lot of love and appreciation. So I'm not getting the real. And anybody who's married or is in a relationship knows that the person who knows you best is your spouse, somebody who lives with you. So one of the biggest things that allowed me to recognize that she's not to be played with was focusing on, most people focus on business development, and they might go as far as personal development, but they don't tap into spiritual development. So one of the biggest things that she focused on was making sure that she was spiritually grounded. She didn't just put in her bio, put God first. She ran the play for real. And how I knew she ran the play is when we went to, when we were first dating, I lived in Atlanta and she lived in LA. And I asked her if she goes to church, and she said she does go to church, but I wanted her to go to the church I go to. So I sent her the address, and the last experience I had, the relationships didn't work out because they didn't want to go to church. My wife, she ran the play. Not only she ran the play, all she talked about was how amazing the study was, her realizations, and it just changed the game for me, making me realize that she focuses on the spiritual before the business.
Love it.
Thanks.
Okay, so for your single friends, your single lady friends, right? Your sis who wants to become a wife, what is your best piece of advice for her as a married, formerly married, gonna be married again one day, man? Like, knowing what you know now, being in marriage, what is your advice for the single women?
I don't know if this is the best piece of advice, but I would really say you should go where, if you desire a certain man, I would go there. Like, I think you could find a nice man at a business conference, right? I think, right? So I would say you should go. You probably not, I don't know if you're going to find your guy at Magic City.
You might.
So now, if you want guy, if you want that, meaning like somebody may be turning up, like promoter and nothing wrong, like however they get it, go where that person is. But I see a lot of nice gentlemen, a lot of nice women at these business conferences literally looking for people. Now, the other thing is, I've never experienced this, but my partner Doug found his wife on Match. You said Tinder. It seemed like them apps must work. Just get with somebody to write the bio or something.
Gotcha.
But I really think that's critical. You should actually go where they are. And I tell, like, my brother's quote, J.O. say, whatever you tune into, you turn into, whatever entertains you, train. You need to be going where these individuals are. If it's church, go to church. If it's a conference, and they will run into you. Like, somehow it's just going to happen if you stay in that arena long enough. And again, you may not want an entrepreneur. Go where I only know entrepreneurs.
There's some corporate conferences out here with some
That's what I'm saying.
men.
Go to some corporate conferences, and go to some retreats, some dating retreats and Facebook groups and stuff. But that's just what I would do if I was looking.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, clap it up for that. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, hey, I don't know about that one, brother. I need the money. I would say, a lot of times what I tell my single friends that are girls is, like, date somebody the opposite of your type. Because, like, sometimes the criteria that you got just might be wrong. And you just might have to date the dude that's corny and can't dress and...
They said you went too far with
I
that.
was with you for a minute, but
Well, no, personally, honestly, I think a lot of that stuff can be developed. Like you could show, like, if a guy that can't dress, he know he can't dress, and so he hoping he finds somebody with a little style that can help get him right. You know what I mean? Right? Neo, he can dress now.
I still can't.
He can, but he's pulling together, and it's like, but he match. You know what I'm saying? He all colors of black. He good. You know what I mean? But I do think maybe you should try, like, go on a date with a guy that you would never take a date from and be like, let me just see how this experience is. Because I don't think everything is about, like, let me just find somebody to marry tomorrow. Like, why don't you find out what you like and what you don't like? Date somebody, be like, okay, I like this. Well, no, I don't like that. That's the only way you really find out what you like. And it didn't always have to be about sex or anything. Just, like, get a chance to know people. And I think when you do that, you open yourself up for possibilities. The second thing is just, I do believe income is important, but if that's the only criteria, that's a bad one too. Kevin Samuels, is a tough subject for a lot of people, but I actually think he was telling the truth in a lot of areas. And because, a lot of times,
Don't start nothing. Don't start nothing in here, brother.
on a scale of 1 to 10,
Don't
And you can't
start
use a 7. No,
I ain't in this. Just camera, I ain't
Don't
in
do
this.
it. They gonna pull the mics.
But listen. Honestly, I do believe, and this is men and women though. I just think women don't care about it as much as men do. Right? Like there's some guys that's not in shape. They don't got their stuff together, but they making money. And so women will look at that person like, well, I don't care, girl, because he got his stuff together. And that's cool, but I don't know a lot of guys that make that adjustment a lot of the times. And so sometimes I've seen people, I'm like, man, you definitely a dope person, but the guy that you looking at, I don't know if that guy gonna be looking for you. You know what I'm saying? And there's no disrespect because shoot, every girl that is super attractive wasn't always looking at me either. And so I think you do have to try to date some people that are a little bit different than your type and be open for people to grow. Like if you would have met Neo 13 years ago, you would be like, this is a broke dude.
That's ball.
Definitely, bro.
I remember when Dave was selling T-shirts at the mall. When he was working at Cheesecake Factory. Like he's probably one of the few people I've seen the whole entrepreneurship journey for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what you're looking for is that person now, not realizing you got to get with that person and develop them and grow with them till they become that person. And not everybody wants to do that.
That's right.
And can I add this, Cole? I think this not that question, but I don't want to I think this is important when you get married or get that you need to get some sort of coach, relationship coaching. Like I don't care how perfect you think your stuff is. Like we added a coach, it helped everything. And this is something I just learned, y'all, a year ago. I just learned my wife's love language a year ago. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that was a whole world. Strength finders, love languages, disassessments. Because now you immediately know what works for them and what don't work with them based on that criteria. So if I could tell anybody, I'm like, you need to go home today, get the love language. You need to go. Because I'll give you an example. Like for me, I bought my wife a car with her. I'm like, yo, this is about to be crazy. I got her rented out the Braves Stadium, like gave her the Lambo truck. I'm like, yeah, it's up. That didn't really do nothing. We went in the stadium. On the stadium, it said 9 things I love about you. She bought. I'm like, but I'm saying, so oftentimes it's, you gotta find what work. My wife just hold her hand, tell her you love her, spend time with her. That's all she want. She don't want nothing else. Say some kind words and it's on. But I just learned that though. So I say all that to say, that's why I think coaching in every area of your life is critical. That's why, if you teaching ladies how to get, like, it's critical that they come to you because it's the fast pass on helping somebody get married. So I just think that was just something that helped me recently. I think that might help somebody.
I would also say personal development. So I remember I made a list of all the things that I could think about myself that need to be fixed for someone to love me. And not saying I don't have any value, but my ability to be nonchalant in real issues. That's like, it's just one of the things on my list. Personal development is so key, just working on yourself, the way you think. And actually, the more you develop, the things that you see change. So let's say when I was 18, 19, the woman that I thought I wanted to be my wife, that archetype, as I can continue to develop, they don't look the same. So when I changed, the things I saw changed. So now I'm able to, I'm in this real personal development space in the 6 months where I meet my wife. And the things that I see, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna be able to find that nowhere else. But I continue to develop. So as you continue to develop what you see, how you feel, being able to manage your emotions, the places that you decide to put yourself in, the conversations you decide to entertain, as you start to develop in that process, the people that walk by you every day and try to talk to you, gonna find out, like Gigi said, oh, that man fine. Hold on, I never looked at the person that way because you're seeing it from a different lens. So that's been my hack.
What you got for the single ladies, Maddie?
Dang.
Struggle for my
Shoot.
I have a framework.
conversation.
He's got a framework for you,
framework.
ladies.
Listen, meet us at our business conference. Okay, the answers get way better. You know what I mean? This is not.
Facts.
The framework I use is in relationships in general, but you got to prioritize what the most important relationship, obviously, outside of God is your relationship with your spouse. So for me, typically when people say you're a cheater, it's typically referencing somebody who had some type of adultery or had a sexual encounter with somebody else. But cheating is cheating, right? So the question is, how can we use the word cheating in other areas? That's the question I ask myself. I realize the reason why people don't call each other cheaters for anything else outside of messing around the boundaries of sexual acts is they're not making enough agreements. So when I got married, one thing I recognized that got mentioned by the officiator was that we made a covenant. Now, I understand a covenant is another word for contract, but contract has terms. So the question I have to ask myself is, what should be in the terms of this agreement so we can be on the same understanding, we can have the same expectations? So I realized I created a framework, and the framework included how I wanted to be supported. So it was financial support, intellectual support, sensual support, it's experiential support, and also the last support was making sure that I understood how I wanted to be supported emotionally as well. So as I made that list of how I wanted to be supported, I also need to ask, how does she want to be supported in those categories as well? So the question that should be brought up is, who, when it comes to relationships, who is going to initiate the conversation of how you want to be supported in those categories and making sure that you have an agreement, a covenant on how you can actually help facilitate it. So that was one of the key pieces. And the second key piece for somebody who's single is having, kind of tied into what David Shan said, was there's no elevation without self-evaluation. The question is, how do you self-evaluate? And like Neo said, you need coaches, mentors, and trainers. Yep. And if I'm an athlete, I play basketball, I have a basketball coach. It would be kind of weird if I told you I played professional basketball and didn't have a basketball coach. Relationships is one of the biggest things. So having a relationship coach is key. Having a relationship trainer is key, and having a relationship mentor is super key. And I believe that a mentor, a trainer, and coaches, they play 3 different roles. I think a mentor has more of the emotional support for somebody. They have the experience, they can tell stories, they can help inspire, motivate, and help them, somebody in their journey, get to a similar path. I believe a coach, their job is just to provide the plays. They don't typically need any type of relationship with the individual that they're helping. They just need to instruct the plays and help that person run the plays. Yep. The trainer, I believe having a relationship trainer helps you develop the skills necessary to run the plays that the coach gave you. And if you're going through any struggle actually running those plays, the mentor helps you emotionally handle those situations. So I believe anybody who's serious about taking their relationships to the next level, they'll seek out a community that provides a mentor, coach, and trainer when it comes to relationships.
See, that was good, man.
Yeah,
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna give y'all. I give y'all one more. I was like, I ain't always trying to take it to
You
the
got
Bible.
the Bible pulled up over here,
But
y'all. What you got?
I had to find it because I was like, there's a whole passage in the Bible about a capable wife, right? In Proverbs 31:10 through the end of the chapter.
How many know that verse?
Right.
Forward and backwards.
But you got to translate it, like for today, like it says, who can find a capable wife? Her value is far more than that of corals. Her husband trusts her from his heart, and he lacks nothing of value. She rewards him with good, not bad, all the days of her life. So like every day, I want to give him something good. She obtains wool and linen. She delights to do work with her hands. And she's not lazy. Like she's industrial. She can make something happen. She rises while it's still night, providing food for her household and portions for her female servants. So it's like it's a kind person. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but there are a lot of principles that you can start working on yourself. And like a lot of times what I do when I read a scripture or I read something, I'm like, okay, why did I feel like I don't want to do that? And then that's the area for me to grow as a person. Like some people like be mad about the word submission. And I'm like, well, maybe you should research it and see what it is, because all of us got to submit. In fact, your husband should submit to God, right? And so all of us have to submit to somebody. And so it's like, okay, and here's the funny thing. Women that don't want to submit to a man, you're the only person that can actually choose your head. Like by default,
what that mean?
What that mean? By default, like our head is God. But women, you get a chance to choose who you want to submit to. So don't choose nobody that you don't want to listen to them, or you don't trust what they're saying, because some of the times you're not submissive. You're like, I don't trust you. Well, you should have never married somebody you don't trust their decision making, because it's gonna be hard for you to be submissive.
That's my dog right there. I'm relaxing too.
And so like start studying that stuff. And the same thing, it's a whole passage for husbands. on how you treat your wife and things that you want to be doing there. And I think a lot of those things, whether or not you're a religious person or not, to me, they're just principles. And if you just study the principles, you got to say, okay, well, what do I disagree about with this chapter? Is it because I don't want to do nothing around the house? Well, shoot, the man has to do stuff around the house too. But you start checking those little things off, and then shoot, ask your friends. You know if you got an attitude problem. You know if you got to fix yourself. You know, like we all know the areas we got to work with ourselves on, and a lot of times we go into relationships broken, thinking they're going to fix us, instead of just going in being a whole person and let's build something together. So Proverbs 31 is a good one for anybody that's single or in a relationship to continue to study and look at and reflect on.
That's the justice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Clap it up for the fellas. And just a little hope for my club ladies. I did meet my husband at the club, y'all, but we was in the club. We wasn't of the club. I think that's a little different.
That's a bar.
But you got some hope. You got some hope.
That's a bar.
You got some hope.
Club might work then.
You know, don't subscribe to the rules. The right
That's a
person is the
fact.
right person.
That's a fact.
Really quick, gotta thank my sponsors, even though I got some new sponsors up here on the stage. They done shouted it out. I'm claiming it. We got Stocks and Stilettos, Sisters in Business, and Flourish Media Co. Definitely could not do this event without them. So thank you so much for our sponsors. Really quick, I'm gonna have my fellas let the ladies know. They all married though, y'all. They taken, so don't follow them for no other reason other than to get some business. So she said that's right. So let the ladies know where they can connect with y'all on social media.
Subscribe to the Social Proof podcast. Y'all listen to podcasts?
Of course
go to
they
your app
do.
real quick. Go to your app real quick and just, y'all ain't gonna do it? You don't have to.
They already subscribed.
If you're not, you know what I mean? Go to the Social Proof podcast. It is a really, really good podcast for entrepreneurs that want to learn, grow, and develop. And my Instagram is @sleepisfor with the number 4 suckers, SUCKERS.
Oh. You can catch me on Instagram, New Age CEO. And then we got the Run the Play show coming out, so y'all can go on YouTube, subscribe to that.
Yes,
We're gonna give you
sir.
the top plays when it comes to business, leadership, business relationships. So it's gonna be
Y'all
pretty
doing
dope.
it together? Okay.
Facts.
We do. All right.
It's just this why it's so important just to have this environment,
Mike.
because when somebody's winning, we act like we all winning. Like it's just we like you are thriving. I feel like I'm thriving. I feel good to see people thriving. So I think that's that environment.
Yeah,
right?
facts.
Getting around the right people.
And I guess my Instagram, Neo Deviso on Instagram. We'll love to be able to just continue to tap in with everybody and just check us out. We giving nothing but free volume, free gems on how to just increase your income. So appreciate y'all. And Cole, I'm proud. I'm excited about just your show.
Thank
and
you.
I saw you were in top 50. And I'll speak in existence. This is going to be number 1. So clap it up for number 1, y'all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Neo.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to be on the stage to share our experiences. Cole for being the host with the most.
Thank you.
You guys can find me on Instagram. My main channel is @CEO Matty J. I'm really, really big on sharing personal development, business development bars. I'm known for the statement, all bars, no fluff. And we meet
Facts.
every Monday at 9:30 on Zoom for free for anybody who wants to get tapped in and wrapped in.
Clap it up for the fellas.
Yeah. Look, I gotta say something too.
Yes, please.
I gotta say something because I remember. I know y'all remember too when Coriel had the Single Wives Club, and I would ask her like, "Girl, what you gonna do when you get married?" She was like, "Well, that's just proof that it worked." And I was like, "Man, that's smart because there's a lot of people that teach relationship stuff and it ain't work for them." And so I want y'all to know when y'all listening to somebody, like the stuff she was talking about, preparing herself as a wife before she was a wife, and then now she's transitioned to now empowering women and showing how they can do it. She's not just talking about it from a standpoint of like, oh, I think this is a great thing to sell because I can make some money. No, she's been talking about this for a long time. And what she's doing now is just evidence that the stuff she was talking about and preparing for works. So I just want to give you a shout out for that.
Thank you.
Hey, fuck cars one more time.
One more time. Okay, I do have a giveaway. I don't know how I'm gonna do this giveaway. Neo has sponsored a couple decks, y'all.
There we go.
Who was the first person here? Nas, you remember who the first person was? Nas, don't remember? Who showed up and nobody else was here first? Don't lie.
Maybe who drove the farthest.
Well, Audrey already supported and bought a deck.
Shout out to Audrey. What up? What up?
There
What
we
up?
go, Audrey.
All right, here you go, girl. You done won. You don't have to come up now, but I'll make sure you get it. Anybody not live in Atlanta? All right, where'd you travel from? All right, the M is in the building. The M is in the building.
I love it.
Shout out to the spot chick Audrey representing the M. Y'all, I appreciate y'all so much for being here for the Girls Stop Playing podcast, Ladies Night Live. I love y'all. We got a brand new episode dropping tomorrow. My girl Alicia Reese, she's a quiet storm, okay? And she will be in the studio tomorrow live at 8 p.m. Tap in, subscribe to the show, leave your girl a 5-star review on iTunes, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
Let's go.
Hey.